Coming at you live from Ace Bolt and Screw in Richland, Mississippi. Brand new store down here. I got to tell you, folks, I'm seeing people go in the doors empty-handed and come out with baskets full of products, tools and supplies, etc. So it's a big day. All the vendors are on hand with all of their wares. Great team of the Ace Bolt and Screw staff here to help you with your selection. This store is well stocked, and it's really laid out neat too. It's just kind of an experience just to walk through the store. But anyhow, in the Element Wealth studio, which is in the parking lot of Ace Bolt and Screw today, we've got John McKay, President and CEO of the Mississippi Manufacturers Association. John, always good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Great to be here.
So this is a pretty big deal. I know it's not manufacturing, but I guarantee you that these folks are selling a lot of these tools and supplies to your members, to the manufacturing community, which is great.
Absolutely. I see Milwaukee over there, and they're a great manufacturer here in Mississippi. And even DeWalt's got some connections to Mississippi with the MTD facility up in North Mississippi. So we're excited, at the retail level, just seeing folks streaming in here and buying product. This all benefits manufacturing.
No doubt. No doubt. And we got to say it again, how great is it to get that 49 all finished up? What a difference that makes. It's been some time in the making, but gosh, it is such a joy to see that done, and the traffic. The mayor earlier, John, was saying that 100,000, is that right? Is that right, Ryan?
50,000
or 50,000. That's still a whole bunch of cars and trucks coming up and down this highway through this stretch right here. But anyhow, I got to believe that is going to boost economic development in this area as well, John. This sort of infrastructure is critical to that.
Absolutely. This part of Rankin County and even Hinds County next door is a great place where you see industry and you see transportation and logistics, and all of that coming together in this general area is definitely going to be a boost for the area.
We as we talked with Scott Waller from the MEC a couple of segments ago, in the eyes of those outside of Mississippi, sometimes we are not perceived as positively as we certainly should be. I want folks to know, and I know you know this as well, this is a dang good place to do business.
Absolutely. We have great people, we have great infrastructure, we have great laws and regulations on the books. We can always improve, and that's one thing that folks like Scott and myself do at the legislature and working with our agencies. But overall, we are in a very good place. We've just got to capitalize on what we have to offer. And these reports come out, and you got to take a lot of that with a grain of salt. The metrics they use and the data points can all be manipulated here and there to paint a picture. And we all know that there are things that we need to work on, but overall we're in a great place, and I think Governor Reeves and the political leadership in the state have really done a great job in the last couple of years with everything that's been going on to really keep the momentum going.
So yesterday we had a big announcement right here on Middays from our mutual friend Robert Taylor with Taylor Machine in Louisville. What a big announcement that was. Their partnership is not really much of a partnership anymore. They're going to actually start building these vehicles for Terberg, which is a Netherlands-based company, builds specialized tractors and other vehicles that are used in the shipping industry primarily. Fascinating vehicles. We had a photo of one on an easel behind us during the interview. That was a big announcement. I think 90, they're going to employ 90 in the Golden Triangle area and build these vehicles. First time they will have a U.S. and American presence. They're in 12 nations, big, giant company, no U.S. presence. It's so exciting that they're going to manufacture these special vehicles in Mississippi.
Absolutely, and you couldn't ask for a better partner than the Taylor Group.
Yes.
The Taylor folks, and a lot of folks around here know them, and Robert and Lex, and they're just such a great family-owned company, and they started from the bottom. They've grown that company, expanded it into all sorts of sectors, whether it's power generation or their forklift operation. They're working with the Department of Defense, and then they're going international, and that's really what this is all about, is finding those partnerships that grow that company to what it really could and should be, and it's really an example of small companies that other companies like that in the state can really look at and say, hey, the sky's the limit.
No doubt.
You just gotta pull through and get the workforce you need and really concentrate on your core core values and your partnerships, and I think that's a good thing.
Had a vision, had a plan.
That's right.
Willing to take the risk. There's always risk when you go out and make investments like this,
right.
But they will no doubt succeed. They just understand how to run businesses in a quality way, in a profitable way. They've got a great team. They take care of their people. That's the way it's done. So what a big announcement that was. The EMCC Communiversity, I can't tell you how impressed I was with that. I know you hear it from your members as well. Workforce availability of qualified workers, top challenge, number one issue, and it's not just in Mississippi, it's across the country. That facility and that entire program goes a long way towards bridging that gap and producing ready to go to work students that are ready to hit the workforce and produce for their employers.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the folks over there at East Mississippi and the community university concept, they really set a model in place. And you saw it being emulated by the folks up in Batesville at the Concourse facility that they've developed up there. There's a facility down on the coast that has a great collaborative model with the education system. And that's what we're looking for, is community colleges, universities, and industry really coming together and finding what we need, because we can train folks all day, but if the jobs don't exist for those people, what are we doing?
But they're working hand in hand with industry to tailor these programs so that they're developing the skills they need when they come out. They're ready to hit the streets, run, and go to work. It's just a great concept. One that I said yesterday on the air, John, we need to replicate across the state, I believe.
And we need to put our money where our mouth is. These things aren't free. We think we get a great return on investment, but we need to keep investing in that model and those universities and those community colleges and our people at the end of the day.
I agree. It's awesome. We got to talk a little bit about public policy. We had Scott Waller on earlier discussing this reconciliation bill that is poised to pass in the Congress, in the U.S. Senate, and sent to the House and then over to the President's desk for enactment. The National Association of Manufacturers came out and said the manufacturing sector would bear half of the new taxes in this bill.
That's right, and it is incredibly unfortunate. And you got to go back, and tax policy is a fluid thing. But if you go back to the tax cuts under President Trump, and you looked at the promises that industry made when those were being debated, hey, we will hire more people, we will increase wages, we will give signing bonuses, all the things they promised, they fulfilled those promises. You saw employment, skyrocket after those tax cuts went into place, investment in companies. Yeah. Obviously, COVID threw all that up in the air.
Capital investment.
Yeah, capital investment through the roof. And now you look at them, and they're talking about this minimum book tax, and that's going to incredibly impact industry and manufacturers because the investment that they make in capital purchases like equipment. And there's a reason that you treat those purchases differently in the tax code, and to go back on those promises after a company has made these investments, it's just the wrong way to go. And we need to concentrate on economic development, and this is the reverse of that. And I really hope that a handful of senators may wise up on this.
I hope
at the end of the day.
We talked about it earlier on the show. Revenues, the Treasury is reporting that we are experiencing record revenue collections at the federal level and taxes, and that's with the present tax structure. Right. It's like it's never enough.
That's right.
They need to leave industry alone, leave the manufacturing sector alone. And the other thing that I know you're aware of is this does flow downhill. When big manufacturers get hit with a higher tax bill, they buy less from smaller manufacturers and smaller producers.
Well, and you mentioned the National Association putting out the study about half the impact of this bill. They've also put out, through their surveys of member companies, cost pressures are really hurting manufacturers right now. The top 4 issues, workforce is one. The other 3 are related to cost pressures and supply chain issues. So you're just adding another cost burden to get in the way of them hiring more people and making more capital investments. And it's just, again, it's the wrong way to go.
makes no sense to raise taxes, especially in an inflationary environment and also with the economy facing a significant amount of headwinds, because it looks like the Fed's going to keep on ratcheting up interest rates, and that has a negative impact on economic activity, and that's the intent of it, to try to tame inflation. And then you get hit with a tax bill. I've always said, John, is faith, confidence, and certainty. That's what drives investment, expansion, and hiring. And when you've got this, as you said, fluid tax policy, you just have a tendency to hunker down and say, well, I'm not going to do anything until the smoke clears.
Yep, and you look at the bigger picture. I mean, we are just now in manufacturing back to pre-pandemic employment levels. We lost over 1 million employees in the manufacturing sector, and we are just now back to pre-pandemic. And it really is, again, it's those pressures are going to put on industry to make them rethink their plans long term, and that is the last thing we need.
Got to kill the bill. Got to kill it. John, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. John McKay, CEO and President of the Mississippi Manufacturers Association. Time for